He was kicked out of 3 job interviews for bringing his baby to the meeting. Today, that same man runs a billion-dollar company where every employee gets unlimited family leave. His wife? She was told to choose between her law career and having kids. Now she owns the biggest family law firm in the country while raising 7 children. What I'm about to tell you isn't a fairy tale, it's the real story of Marcus and Isabella Chen, who broke every rule about success and wrote their own. Get ready, because this true story will flip everything you think you know about choosing between money and family. 25 years ago, Marcus Chen stood outside a fancy office building in a borrowed suit. His stomach was empty because he'd spent his last $5 on bus fare to get there. The security guard looked at him twice. His young Asian guy with a bright yellow tie didn't look like he belonged. But Marcus had a secret weapon. It wasn't a Harvard degree or rich parents. It was something his immigrant father told him every single morning: a man who wins at work but loses at home is not a winner at all. That yellow tie? His grandmother made it from fabric scraps. She told him yellow meant courage in their culture. He'd need every bit of that courage for what happened next. The interview was going perfectly until his phone rang. His pregnant wife Isabella was in the hospital. Without thinking, Marcus stood up mid-sentence and left. The interviewer yelled after him that he'd never work in this industry if he walked out that door. Marcus kept walking. At the hospital, Isabella was fine, just morning sickness that scared them both. She'd been in her own interview at a top law firm when she got sick. The senior partner, an older woman without kids, told her bluntly, "You can be a mother or a lawyer, not both. Choose now." Isabella chose to throw up in the woman's designer trash can, then walked out with her head high. That night, in their tiny apartment with a leaking roof and windows that didn't close properly, Marcus and Isabella made a promise. They would build their careers without sacrificing their family. They would prove everyone wrong. They didn't know how yet, but they knew why. Their first child was coming, and they refused to choose between providing for her and being present for her. Marcus started small, really small. He created a software company from their kitchen table while Isabella studied for the bar exam between contractions. Their computer was so old it took 20 minutes to boot up. They shared one cell phone and passed it back and forth depending on who had more important calls that day. When their daughter Lily was born, they couldn't afford a crib. She slept in a drawer padded with blankets. The early days were brutal. Marcus coded all night while Isabella breastfed. Isabella wrote legal briefs while Marcus changed diapers. They tag-teamed parenting and working, sleeping in 2-hour shifts. Their friends called them crazy. Their parents worried they'd burn out. The startup world laughed at Marcus for bringing baby Lily to investor meetings in a carrier. Unprofessional, they sneered. You'll never get funding acting like a babysitter. But something strange happened. At one meeting, baby Lily started crying just as Marcus was explaining his software's benefits. Instead of being embarrassed, he bounced her gently while continuing his presentation. The lead investor, a grandmother herself, was impressed. "Anyone who can multitask like that can handle our money," she said. Marcus got his first funding that day. $50,000 that felt like $50 million. Isabella faced her own battles. Law firms expected 80-hour weeks. She negotiated something unheard of: motherless, a flexible schedule where she'd work from home 2 days a week. Her bosses agreed only because she was brilliant, but they made it clear she was off the partner track. Isabella didn't care about titles. She cared about tucking Lily in at night. Their second child, Marcus Jr., arrived when the company had 10 employees. Marcus shocked everyone by taking a full month off. His investors panicked. His competitors celebrated, thinking he'd lost his edge. But Marcus had a different plan. He worked from home, proving his systems worked remotely. When he returned, productivity had actually increased. His employees, inspired by his example, worked harder knowing their boss truly valued family. Isabella's legal practice grew differently than traditional firms. She specialized in helping families like theirs, ambitious professionals trying to balance success with parenting. Her contracts included revolutionary ideas like required family time and success metrics that measured happiness alongside profits. Other lawyers mocked her soft approach until her clients started outperforming traditional companies. By their third child, Emma, the Chens had learned something powerful: integration beat balance. Instead of separating work and family, they blended them. Marcus brought his kids to the office on Saturdays, letting them draw on whiteboards while he coded. Isabella held client meetings at parks where her children could play. Their home became a laboratory for testing every theory about success they'd ever heard. The 2008 financial crisis almost broke them. Marcus's company lost 60% of its value overnight. Isabella's clients couldn't pay their bills. They gathered their kids, now 6, 4 and 2, around their dinner table and explained simply, "Money is tight. We might lose our house, but we won't lose each other." What happened next still makes Marcus tear up. 6-year-old Lily offered her piggy bank. 4-year-old Marcus Jr. suggested selling his toys. 2-year-old Emma, not understanding but wanting to help, offered her favorite stuffed bear. That night, the parents realized they'd already succeeded in ways that mattered most. They kept the house by getting creative. Marcus convinced his board to let him cut his salary by 70% in exchange for keeping every employee. Isabella created payment plans for struggling clients, accepting barter when necessary. One client, a chef, paid legal fees by teaching their family to cook. Another, a mechanic, maintained their car in exchange for contract work. The Chen kitchen became a community center where success was measured in relationships, not revenue. Their 4th child, David, was born during recovery. By then Marcus's company had pivoted to remote work software. A decade before COVID made it essential. He instituted policies that seemed insane: unlimited family leave, work from anywhere Fridays, and expense accounts that covered family dinners if business was discussed. His board fought him until they saw the results. Employee turnover dropped to near zero. Top talent left Google and Facebook to join them. Isabella's firm grew into something unprecedented. She hired single mothers, working fathers, and caregivers of elderly parents. Her office included a nursery, homework room and meditation space. Court appearances were scheduled around school pickups. Partners shared babysitting duties. The legal world watched in shock as her firm's revenues grew 500% in 5 years. Their 5th child, Sophia, arrived when skeptics finally admitted the Chens might be onto something. Harvard Business School sent professors to study their methods. Marcus gave them full access, believing open-source principles applied to life, not just software. The resulting case study, the Chen model, Redefining Success, became required reading in business schools globally. But success brought new challenges. Their older children faced unique pressures at school. Classmates assumed they were spoiled rich kids. Teachers expected perfection. Lily came home crying when a friend said her dad loved money more than her. Marcus left a $1 million acquisition meeting to attend her school play, sitting front row in his business suit, cheering louder than anyone. The Chen parenting philosophy was simple but revolutionary: teach everything, hide nothing. Their kids learned coding alongside cooking, investing alongside empathy. Family meetings resembled corporate boards where children presented ideas and budgets. 7-year-old Emma once pitched a lemonade stand with a 12-slide presentation, including market research she'd conducted at school. Their 6th child, James, was born with learning disabilities. This tested everything they believed about success. Traditional achievement metrics didn't apply. Marcus and Isabella adjusted, creating new definitions of victory. James might struggle with reading but excelled at emotional intelligence. They celebrated his first friend as enthusiastically as his siblings' academic awards. Technology shaped their family differently than most. They embraced innovation but demanded purpose. Screen time required creation, not just consumption. Their kids built apps before they could drive. 12-year-old Marcus Jr. created a chore tracking system that gamified housework. 10-year-old Emma developed a family calendar that synced everyone's activities. Even 6-year-old David coded simple games for his younger siblings. Their seventh and final child, Grace, completed what Isabella called their lucky seven. By then the family operated like a well-oiled machine where everyone had roles but no one had rigid titles. Older kids mentored younger ones. Younger kids kept older ones humble. Parents learned from children as much as they taught them. The Chen house rules reflected their values. Family dinner is sacred meant phones went in a basket, conversation stayed real. Failure is feedback meant mistakes became lessons, not shame. Success is shared meant individual achievements triggered family celebrations. Money as a tool meant wealth enabled impact, not identity. Marcus's company went public when Grace was 2. The IPO created hundreds of millionaires because Marcus had given equity to every employee, from engineers to janitors. His opening bell speech became legendary. "We didn't build a unicorn, we built a family of families." Stock price soared not from hype but from substance. Employees who felt valued created valuable products. Isabella's legal innovations influenced international policy. Her family constitution framework helped countries design family-friendly business laws. She testified before Congress, bringing baby Grace to the hearing. When senators questioned her professionalism, she calmly explained that excluding parents from policy-making guaranteed anti-family policies. The image of her nursing Grace while discussing economic theory went viral, shifting cultural conversations about working mothers. Education in the Chen family defied convention. Public schools through 8th grade taught them diversity. High school choices depended on individual needs, not prestige. College was encouraged but not mandated. Their second daughter chose culinary school over Yale. Their son picked community college to stay near a girlfriend with cancer. The parents supported every path that aligned with personal values. The children's teenage years brought unique challenges. Dating someone meant family dinners and genuine conversations. Boyfriends and girlfriends became extended family members, included in decisions and celebrations. When Lily's first boyfriend cheated, the entire family supported her healing. When Marcus Jr. came out as gay, the celebration rivaled his Harvard acceptance. Financial transparency started early. Kids saw tax returns, understood budgets, and participated in investment decisions. By 10, each managed a small portfolio. By 15, they ran micro-businesses. By 18, they understood wealth creation and distribution. The family joke was their kids knew compound interest before cursing words. Health crises tested their resilience repeatedly. Isabella's breast cancer diagnosis at 45 forced brutal honesty. The children, then ranging from 7 to 22, participated in treatment decisions. Marcus took a 6-month sabbatical, modeling that careers paused for crises. Lily flew home from medical school. Marcus Jr. delayed his startup launch. The younger kids created Mom's healing chart tracking good days with stickers. Isabella's recovery celebration wasn't a party but a purpose. They launched a foundation providing cancer support for working mothers. The first grant went to their house cleaner. diagnosed the same week as Isabella, but without resources for treatment. This began their philosophy of parallel philanthropy. Experiencing privilege required extending it to others facing similar challenges without similar resources. Mental health conversations happened as naturally as dental checkups. When 16-year-old Emma developed anxiety, therapy wasn't hidden but highlighted. Her siblings learned coping strategies alongside her. Marcus shared his own therapy journey, breaking stereotypes about Asian men and mental health. Isabella's postpartum depression after Grace became a teaching tool about brain chemistry versus character weakness. The family's carbon footprint consciousness influenced every decision. They drove electric cars before they were cool. Their mansion ran on solar power. Vacations prioritized experiences over luxury. When 12-year-old David became passionate about climate change, the family changed habits to support his activism. Their company became carbon negative, absorbing more than it produced. College decisions reflected individual passions over parental preferences. Lily chose State Medical School over Hopkins for its community clinic programs. Marcus Jr. picked MIT but studied social entrepreneurship, not pure tech. Emma selected a small liberal arts college for its mental health advocacy programs. The parents celebrated each choice equally, hosting admission parties regardless of rankings. The Chen investment strategy taught patience over profit. Their portfolio balanced traditional stocks with social enterprises. They invested in companies aligning with family values, accepting lower returns for higher impact. When offered insider trading opportunities, they used family meetings to discuss ethics. The children learned that integrity compounded faster than interest. Extended family integration multiplied their impact. Grandparents lived in attached units, providing wisdom and requiring care. Cousins collaborated on projects. Aunts and uncles became mentors. Family reunions resembled startup incubators where ideas cross-pollinated. Their annual Chen Summit featured business pitches alongside baby announcements. Dating rules in the Chen household prioritized character over credentials. Partners joined family volunteer projects before fancy dinners. They participated in game nights before exclusive events. When Marcus Jr. said boyfriend proposed, he'd already spent 3 Thanksgivings washing dishes and 2 Christmases playing Santa at their community center. The family's approval meant more than any engagement ring. Career pivots were celebrated, not discouraged. When Lily left her prestigious residency to join Doctors Without Borders, the parents threw a goodbye party. When Emma quit law school to become a therapist, they funded her transition. When David chose firefighting over finance, they bought his first uniform. Success meant finding purpose, not following predetermined paths. The pandemic proved their prescience. While others scrambled, the Chen seamlessly shifted online. Their company's remote infrastructure handled increased demand. Their homeschooling experience helped neighbors struggling with virtual learning. Isabella's court cases continued virtually. Instead of hoarding resources, they organized neighborhood support networks, proving crisis revealed character. Succession planning began early but evolved organically. Marcus groomed leaders throughout his company, not just at the top. Isabella trained associates to become partners, competitors to become collaborators. Their children understood inheritance meant responsibility. Some joined family businesses, others created their own. All carried forward core values of integration and impact. As grandchildren arrived, the Chens adapted again. Marcus's CEO office became a nursery when needed. Isabella's court preparations included grandchild entertainment. Adult children living globally maintained connection through technology and tradition. Sunday dinners happen virtually when necessary, preserving ritual despite distance. Marcus's 60th birthday speech redefined his success metrics. I measure wealth by relationships maintained, not just money accumulated. Success by lives touched, not just goals reached. Legacy by values transmitted, not just assets transferred. The room filled with employees who'd become family and family who'd become partners, gave him a standing ovation. Isabella's legal legacy lived through legislation more than litigation. Her frameworks influenced family law in 30 countries. Her mentees became judges and professors. Her writings shaped how society structured success. When offered the Supreme Court nomination she dreamed of as a young lawyer, she declined, believing grassroots change exceeded judicial power. The Chen children's adult achievements reflected their integrated upbringing. Lily's medical practice included financial counseling and family therapy. Marcus Jr. SIP tech companies mandated paternity leave and on-site childcare. Emma's mental health clinics operated on sliding scales. David's firefighting career included community education programs. Sophia's restaurants employed former inmates. James's learning disability advocacy changed educational policies. Grace's environmental consulting firm required client carbon neutrality. Their neighborhood transformation took decades but demonstrated compound impact. The corner store they'd frequented while poor became a community center they funded when wealthy. The bus stop where Marcus caught rides to interviews became a transit hub they helped modernize. The park where Isabella studied for the bar became an outdoor classroom they endowed. Success meant lifting the ladder after climbing it. Evening reflections in the Chen household evolved with technology but maintained intimacy. Group texts shared daily gratitudes. Video calls connected global members. Their family app tracked achievements and challenges. In-person gatherings happened monthly, rotating locations to share hosting duties. The ritual of reflection, started in their leaking apartment, continued in multiple mansions. Marcus's retirement shocked Wall Street, but not his family. At 65, he transitioned his CEO role to employees through an innovative ownership trust. His final board meeting included his entire family, demonstrating that corporate governance and family values could coexist. His successor, a single mother he'd hired as a junior programmer 20 years earlier, embodied their belief in potential over pedigree. Isabella's practice evolution inspired legal industry transformation. She moved from billable hours to value-based pricing. Her firm's sabbatical program allowed lawyers to pursue passion projects. Her parental leave policies exceeded Scandinavian standards. When competitors copied her models, she celebrated, believing abundant success philosophies created abundant success realities. The family foundation's growth reflected their maturity. Initial charity evolved into strategic systems change. They funded root causes, not just symptoms. Their board included beneficiaries, not just benefactors. Grant applications required failure analysis, believing experience plus resources equaled wisdom. Their Second Chance Fund specifically supported previously failed ventures, proving persistence preceded breakthrough. Technology integration in later years prioritized connection over efficiency. Their smart home featured family photo walls that randomly displayed memories during meals. Their security system protected property but promoted transparency. Children knew passwords, explaining trust exceeded surveillance. Their family blockchain documented stories, ensuring wisdom survived generations. Health challenges in aging required adaptation, not defeat. Marcus's Parkinson's diagnosis at 70 prompted family rallies around research and support. Isabella's arthritis influenced her firm's accessibility renovations. They modeled aging with grace, showing their children that success included accepting help. Their medical directives included philosophical statements alongside treatment preferences. The Chen legacy lived through principles more than possessions. Their company culture survived leadership changes. Isabella's legal frameworks influenced global policies. Their children's ventures carried forward values of integration and impact. The foundation's endowment grew through inspired giving from those they'd helped. Their neighborhood transformation sparked citywide renewal. As Marcus and Isabella celebrated their 50th anniversary, surrounded by 7 children, 14 grandchildren, and hundreds of people whose lives they'd touched, they shared their ultimate secret. Success wasn't about having it all, it was about being it all. They never separated their identities into artificial compartments. They were parents at board meetings and CEOs at soccer games. They brought their whole selves to every moment, refusing to fragment their lives into false choices. Standing there, Marcus still wearing a yellow tie, no designer but still meaningful, and Isabella still radiating the strength that once intimidated law firms. They proved that the greatest success comes from integration, not separation. They didn't balance work and family, they fused them into something stronger than either alone. They didn't climb ladders, they built bridges. They didn't create wealth, they created wealthy lives. The person who was kicked out of 3 job interviews for bringing his baby, he revolutionized how America thinks about working parents. The woman told to choose between law and motherhood, she rewrote laws protecting families worldwide. Together they raised 7 children who are changing the world in their own ways, proving that success, real success, comes not from choosing between professional achievement and personal fulfillment, but from refusing to accept that choice at all. And maybe that's the most important lesson. The only limits to success are the ones we accept. The Chens refused them all.